up, brother?
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
Get a little grub after our workout today.
Grub time.
A little bit of overnight oats. He's eating some egg casserole.
Egg casserole.
Get that in. Get that nutrition.
Food
What's up, guys?
Food
is fuel. That's it.
Food is fuel.
So, it's our second episode today.
Number two.
We're going to be talking about...
Monte.
What are we talking about today?
CrossFit.
CrossFit. Should you do CrossFit is the question, the topic.
That's the topic.
That's it.
Should you?
Just add water. You're taking in some... I'm not sure. Taking in some what?
Eggs
After.
before heading CrossFit.
Post.
No, this is post-workout.
Got that in at 5 a.m. this morning. Not always easy, but...
Yeah, we didn't even do CrossFit.
Yeah, we actually did lifts, bodybuilding stuff. Well, leg extensions, getting that quad flexy.
Getting the quad flexy, gosh.
Yeah, it was good. Anyway.
It was a good day.
So, why?
1 rep maxed it. I was so stoked.
Yeah, 1 rep max of squats, back squats, 1 rep max of bench presses.
Yep.
So, some good heavy lifts today, so... It's fun doing that kind of stuff, because, you know, doing the Metcon stuff and hard, intense workouts.
Not eccentric. What do you call that? No, what is it? Bodybuilding type. Yeah, friggin'. Like a, not eccentric, but like a
swole day?
No, when you're like bodybuilding. Isolated movements.
Yep, isolated. Nice.
Thank you.
First pass. Nice.
Heck yeah, until 8. That's what I'm talking about. 8 o'clock.
Right on.
Love it. Get it.
Love
Work
it.
hard.
That's it.
You can do more.
Better for yourself, better for others.
You can do more than you think.
Makes you more capable to serve those around you.
Tell Colin to get off his lazy butt. Actually, he's far from lazy, but tell him to get off his... Huh?
Who's that?
Keely?
Just add water?
Add water?
406. Whose profile is that?
I think it's Keely. Bottom line.
Alright, anyway, let's get into this before we waste too
Bring
much
it
time, because it's Friday morning. We've got stuff to
Big
do,
Sandy.
things to do, people to see.
Woo! Got work to do.
Alright.
Gotta go work.
CrossFit. So let's talk a little bit about CrossFit, what it is. We don't claim to be experts on it. I just got more into it since I've been out here in Montana.
Yeah, actually, there's probably going to be some people watching that know a lot more about CrossFit than we do. We're just going to give our opinion because America.
There you go. So, anyway, take it for what it's worth. Take it with a grain of salt. Yeah, think about it. Just research it yourself.
I got an idea. We need to get more views. Right? CrossFit sucks. Prove me wrong. Just kidding.
No, I'll prove you wrong right now. It's
Do it.
functional. It's cardio conditioning based. Builds strength. Anyway, what is CrossFit? So,
yeah, I tried to keep up with Keely. Yeah, Keely, trying to keep up with Hannah. I'm in the same boat. She's a beast. What are you gonna do?
did we get the little thing of what is CrossFit?
I mean,
No.
we know what it is.
You know what it is. Anyway,
Essentially, CrossFit, we were doing some research on it yesterday, and the basis of it is being functional with speed so that you can improve your lifestyle, which will, essentially CrossFit is a sport. That's why they have the CrossFit Games to compete in. They have so many competitions in Montana. They have competitions in every state to compete in because CrossFit is a sport. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't have to compete, but even if you go to any sort of box gym, CrossFit box gym, you're going to compete against the other athletes that are in there. But it is set aside for any ability. So if you want to lose 100 pounds, if you want to lose 50 pounds, if you want to, if you're already pretty thin and you want to get stronger, do it. So it's geared towards any ability, but it is a sport.
right. So it's really working on all the major lifts like squats, snatches, squat cleans, deadlifts, all that kind of stuff. Just heavy lift stuff, and then you get
gymnastics,
conditioning, gymnastic stuff, pull-ups, rope climbs, tire flips, all that kind of just body weight movement stuff. Just kind of working that gymnastic stuff, and then you got your rowing, riding, biking, swimming, all that kind of stuff. So it's really a well balanced, I believe, like workout style, I guess you would say, of strength, conditioning, flexibility, mobility. It's functional training. Now, again, put a little disclaimer in there because there's lots of people out there who are like, oh, CrossFit's so like gonna get you hurt, and it's so like self-control. You know, you're just flinging weights around and you're not in control of your body and just.
Well, the thing with CrossFit too is that CrossFit has Olympic style lifts. So like your snatches, your squat cleans, your cleans, your clean and jerks. And I agree with a lot of people. There's a lot of CrossFit gyms out there that, you know, they teach some people how to do it, and they just throw them right in there, and they want you to do these, you know, snatches. Nobody's ever done a snatch before, as fast as you can with a certain amount of weight, and people are gonna hurt themselves. Like, that's gonna happen if you're not careful.
Yeah, it happens in any sport.
That's any sport.
I mean, it happens in.
That's why it's a sport.
Even a gym, in a typical box gym where you just have machines, like you can hurt yourself there too as well. If you don't have someone going through with you and giving you an orientation on how to use the machine or something like that, like, you know, sometimes we just don't know. You know.
Yeah.
That's why it's helpful to get around people that do know the sport. Make sure it's a coach that you're going to be working out with, like in the CrossFit gym, that they know what they're doing. Like they haven't just been in there like my first day, you know, whatever. So, anyway, and the other thing I wanted to mention too is just like maybe one of the downsides of CrossFit is the whole thing with muscle mind connection. And something I was listening to earlier this week, just kind of reading up on it. He was just sharing about like you lose a little bit of that in CrossFit because most of the workouts are for time, and so you're trying to get through your workout, your exercises or whatever, your lifts, in a fast amount of time as possible, which you can lose that mind muscle connection. So instead of really focusing and isolating that movement and really thinking about what muscle you want to work and squeeze, so you maybe lose a little bit of that. So what I'll say with that is, if you've never done like any type of working out or exercise, or you know, never been in the gym, never even used a machine, or just like done push-ups or squats or anything like that, like really think about maybe if CrossFit is right for you to start out. And if it is, like start out, like you gotta progress, right?
Yeah.
Like progression is, you gotta let go of your ego. If you're, you know, especially us guys, we get in our heads, we're like, oh, I want to lift like 200 pounds right away, you know, it's dead, overhead squat, like that amount of weight. But you have to give your body time to progress, to let your joints and your muscle memory, all that kind of stuff, build stuff up, your flexibility, mobility, all that kind of stuff. And also, like, if you're gonna start into CrossFit, add a little bit of bodybuilding, isolated movements within those workouts during the week.
Yeah.
So you are able, like, training your body to know what muscle to work. Because a lot of people don't know how to squeeze their core. You know, like
squeeze your. I had
squeeze your abs. Like
I had trouble with like my pull-ups. I wouldn't engage my lats, and so I started doing like isolated, like lat pull downs. So I could feel what it felt like to engage my lats, because when I was doing pull-ups or kipping pull-ups, you're doing so much at once. I didn't know how to even engage my lats.
Yeah.
And I'm overdeveloped in my shoulders, so it's hard to engage my lats to begin with.
Speaking of shoulders, he's got some massive shoulders. He's a little bit too...
I'm overdeveloped.
Overdeveloped in the shoulders.
And then I got chicken legs.
But... hey, we all got stuff and weaknesses we need to work on, and that's the big thing. Work on your weaknesses every day, and your things that you're strong at will continue to get stronger.
You know, topic.
Yeah, that was just a little rant. Anyway.
That was for free.
That was a little free value,
side.
little nugget, little cheese
side.
nugget.
The other thing with CrossFit,
I don't eat cheese, but
the other thing that I have against CrossFit, let's go to things that would go against CrossFit, or the cons, and then we'll go pros. The other thing I have that's hard with CrossFit is, I just had a brain fart.
There's nothing wrong with CrossFit. That's what you get. Is that what you're saying?
No.
I can't think of anything.
Well, okay, this isn't really a con, but something to think about is you look at any like pro athletes in CrossFit, and they're also doing like weight training, isolated weight training as well, because isolated weight training is going to build strength 100% of the time if you're pushing yourself. Where CrossFit is more like cardiovascular, and it's still strength training, but it's not focused like on isolated movements, which won't strengthen you like isolating bodybuilding style, traditional style movements will. Like CrossFit's going to be more about how fast can you do something, how quickly can you do something, as well as heavy.
Right.
But everything's already, you're not trying to go heavier and heavier and heavier, because typically how it works out is they have the guys' weight and then they have the girls' weight. It doesn't change. So for instance, they have a workout called the Fran. The Fran is a 21-15-9 of barbell thrusters and pull-ups. Okay, the weight for that is 95 for guys. That's always been the same. That's never changed. So they're not ever going to add weight to the Fran to make it heavier. They're just going to add the time. How fast can you do it? Do it faster, do it faster, do it faster. So they're not adding weight so you can get stronger. They're just seeing if you can, cardiovascular-wise, get better. Right. That's the only other thing I think about CrossFit is that it's not really focused on getting that much stronger. It's focused on making your cardiovascular that much stronger.
But it is at the same time too.
It is at the same time. There's like this weird balance.
Well, it's a progression, right? So like you think about like pull-ups, like kipping pull-ups. So CrossFit has kipping pull-ups. If you don't know what they are,
it's like a swinging motion.
It's like a swinging motion, more efficient pull-up. You got butterfly pull-ups, which is the most efficient way. But you don't just start out. You don't just do kipping pull-ups. That's all you do, right? So you get stronger, you get faster, more efficient in kipping pull-ups by doing strict pull-ups first.
Well, and
right.
So and like in gymnastics, like traditionally in gymnastics, they say you're supposed to do 10 strict pull-ups before you even start kipping. The other hard thing about kipping pull-ups is that there's so many injuries in them because people are starting to do kipping before their lats are developed, before all these muscle movements are engaged and developed, because they just want to be able to do a kipping movement.
Yeah, that technique.
And I get it, like, because you don't want to use a band because you can't get it. You just want to be able to do kipping so you can get pull-ups in your workout. The hard thing with that is injuries, and you have to be really careful. I'm not saying don't do kipping if you can't get a strict pull-up. What I'm saying is be careful. Like, let your body tell you, and don't lose the form. You lose the form, and that's the other thing with CrossFit too. Is I feel like so many times you're trying to go so hard, so fast, and people will like forget about form or not care as much about form because they want to get that last rep in. You know, you're pulling up, you're straining everything to get the last pull up in, where you're sacrificing form, and now you're vulnerable to injury.
Right, and so that's like the cool thing I love about CrossFit is like the biggest thing is the community aspect, right? So you have your classes like throughout the week, and you're pushing each other, you're competing, you're just motivating each other.
Competition's good.
Competition is key in life.
Yep.
Healthy competition, competing against yourself, competing against your brother, your family, your friends, whatever it is.
I've never been more fit. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, fitness is.
I've never been more fit than I am right now. One would be because CrossFit has helped my cardiovascular so much, and I can go for more of extended time. I can do things better, faster, more efficient. Two, I'm competing every time we work out. I always work out with Drop. Bill and I always work out together, and we train together. And I'm always competing against him. I'm always trying to do it fast. I'm always trying to do it strong. I'm always trying to do it better.
Yeah.
Which makes me go harder, which if I was by myself, wouldn't happen. CrossFit has that aspect of competition, which is awesome.
Love that. Love the question, Bev. Love to do 10 pull-ups. Yeah.
Oh, you get it.
What we got? Yeah, we'll DM you. Something about a progression to work my way up to 10 pull-ups. Yeah. For sure. Get back to one of that. Anyway, what was I going to say about community? So the downside with that community competitive competition is that, like Kelly was saying earlier, you're in the moment, you're so focused, and you're pushing against each other, and you're trying to essentially win. the best time. So like, it's so easy in that moment to really push and you know, try and get the last couple reps or whatever without the form and technique. You compromise form and technique to win the overall competition, which is not the goal. I don't think it should be. Maybe, I mean, CrossFit is like a sport. So any sport, the winning is the goal in the sport, right?
Right.
So you will have those moments where you're gonna get fatigued and you won't be able to maybe do the form and technique up to par where it should be.
But as long as
when you're training like that, you want to be training.
You want to be training form,
technique, and form.
But if you're competing, you just don't want to make sure you're losing so much form to where you start. If you're starting to feel pain somewhere, just probably stop. Like that's not good. Don't let yourself get to a pain that's not good.
Right. So, I mean, just like any sport, like, see, that's the interesting thing I think about CrossFit is that most sports, like football, baseball, right? You have your sport, you have your Sunday afternoon game, right? That's your time to perform, all that kind of stuff. And you're in the gym training so you can get stronger, more efficient, prevent injury for your sport, right? Well, CrossFit, in the gym and working out, that is the sport. So it's like, it's quite interesting to like understand, like, when you're training and you're in the gym, you're doing lifts, you're doing gymnastic stuff, like, you're essentially doing the sport. It's just you're not in a competition with other people, you know, competing for time and all that kind of stuff. So it's just your training's got to be obviously different. You got to be working on your weaknesses, but it's an interesting concept of the gym time that you're in the gym is that you're working out, you're working your body, like that is the sport.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
in CrossFit, kind of some of the pros of CrossFit is so functional. So functional. I mean, you got mobility, you got strength, you got cardiovascular, your strength and conditioning, everything's in there. There's nothing the same. There's no routine. Mm-hmm. It's different every day. Every week they're creating workouts, they're creating programs differently with different workouts, and it's all functional movements. And so, I mean, in life, you're functional. You want to be a functional person in life. Yeah. So if you gotta climb a tree, you can climb a tree. If you want to, you know, I don't know, whatever it is,
run a mile.
Run a mile. You can run a mile. Whatever it is, you want to be able to be functional, and that's what CrossFit has going for itself. Is when they created it, is we want to see the top athletes compete, sure, but in functional movements. That's why in the CrossFit Games they'll have so many different things to do. I mean, last year they were doing like shooting guns. Yeah. They had obstacle course. They had then they had their deadlifts and their snatches, all that stuff. But it's so freaking functional, mm-hmm. and a lot of the movements help your mobility so much. And so you're right there. If your mobility gets better, your strength gets better, your cardiovascular gets better. Kind of like we talked about last week, you are prone to less injury. Yeah. Less disease, less injury, less fill in the blank, whatever it is for you. Right. Improving your quality of life.
There you go. Boom.
All this to be said, don't slack on your nutrition because it all starts there. And that's their biggest thing too, is like they had this, looking at this pyramid of CrossFit, and the very bottom basis of CrossFit is nutrition. And that's fitness in general. Your nutrition is where it starts. Yeah. Don't slack off on that.
Car can't drive, it doesn't got fuel in it.
Car can't drive.
And if it has bad fuel.
If you put diesel in gas, what happens? If you put gas in diesel, what happens?
Right.
Failure.
Put the nutrition in your body that's going to give you the best performance. Because every person is different, right? Like, what works for Caleb, like, he has different goals, I have different goals. Like, what works for me, like, our bodies react to different food differently. But essentially, just eat clean. Like, right? Eat meat, eat vegetables, all this kind of stuff. Like, just eat less processed food. Sugar. Anyway, that's the nutritional one.
That's true. Not getting into that.
Fitness, CrossFit.
And the thing is, like, okay, do you need to go to a CrossFit gym to do CrossFit? Yes and no. I'm of the opinion that you can do CrossFit-like things, mm-hmm. movements and stuff that is like, it's like CrossFit, but you don't have to go to a CrossFit gym if you don't want to. Yeah. Think about, Google. If you want a workout plan, Google. If you can ask us, we'll send you stuff. We'll give you workout plans if you want something. But just go and find out functional movements, high strength and conditioning, high cardiovascular, and get those things up. I know people hate cardio days. Yeah. Seriously, cardio is one of the most functional things you can do.
But it's better than a treadmill. So
it's better than a treadmill. Way better. And if you have a workout partner, workouts just get way more fun anyway.
That guy.
Way more fun.
It's true. Yep.
And CrossFit is fun.
CrossFit is fun.
It is competition. And I love competition. I love competing. And that's what it's, if you can make working out so fun that you want to spend all your time there, then you're doing something right.
Yeah.
So, should you do CrossFit? Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. There's no right answer. That's the same. That's like asking, should you buy a Lamborghini? Yes and no. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. But only you can answer that.
Should you? Should I?
Should you? Lamborghini? You want to go buy one?
No.
We gotta go to the dealership. I don't even think they sell Lamborghinis in Billings.
Trucks. All they got here is trucks.
Anyway.
Trucks and cowboys.
Like, I think that you should do CrossFit. In the sense that I think you should do a ton of functional movements in your workouts, working out 5 days a week, hitting the gym hard, being active, and not stopping.
Yeah.
Be consistent. Be functional. And do it to your best ability.
Yeah.
That's why I think CrossFit has a good thing going for them with the competition side, because it pushes your abilities further than you think you can.
Right.
So yes, I think you should do CrossFit. If you hate CrossFit so freaking much, then maybe it's not worth it, because it's not even at all, you just hate it and you would rather do traditional stuff and whatever.
Right.
I'm not saying everybody needs to do CrossFit. You need to just decide what you want to do. I'm saying CrossFit's fun and it's so functional. What's the difference between a CrossFit and a HIIT? It's a good question.
They're both pretty well similar. I mean, HIIT is high intensity interval training. So CrossFit, that's basically what, the EMOM, every minute on the minute, all that kind of stuff. It's basically a HIIT workout. Now, most times in a HIIT workout, that's typically what's done in a group fitness class or other box gyms where, they might not have barbells or stuff like that. But at the YMCA where I work, they have a boot camp. It's basically a HIIT class. And CrossFit, they do box jumps, they do dumbbell thrusters, burpees, pull-ups.
And CrossFit.
So it's basically essentially CrossFit. It's just they don't have a lot of the lifts in there.
They don't do Olympic lifting, weightlifting.
But yeah, it's
typically they don't do as much gymnastics.
Right.
And the other thing too is that CrossFit differs from HIIT. Is more of another brain fart.
Yeah. It's essentially the conditioning aspect of CrossFit. So CrossFit, you're training, your strength training, lift stuff. You have your conditioning, AMRAP, EMOM stuff.
I remember.
Interval training, and then you have your really high intense endurance, like the row or the bike or the treadmill stuff. So HIIT class is basically...
A lot of those are in HIIT classes, yeah.
It's CrossFit.
The biggest thing with CrossFit that they try and focus on too is barbell stuff.
Yeah.
CrossFit...
That's kind of the difference.
When I was doing some research the other day, and one of the main things behind CrossFit is being able to be so functional with the barbell and training that way. Now, I didn't look into whether or not it's, why they did that. That's just what they do. Most of CrossFit, they do dumbbell stuff, they do kettlebell stuff, but a lot of their stuff is with a barbell versus your body. No, they do a lot of body weight stuff, but it's so, that's what I said, it varies so much. And so they'll be doing all barbell, one day, then not the next. And so a lot of HIIT classes don't have a lot of barbells just because there's not enough space, typically.
And it's not one thing. I think that's the biggest thing in CrossFit. It's not one thing, so it doesn't give a certain group of people to get good at a certain thing. So if you're an Olympic lifter, and you come into a CrossFit game, you might really kill that event, that workout, but you're not well balanced in the conditioning. You can run 3 miles or do burpees with pull-ups and all that kind of stuff. So really with CrossFit is getting this well-rounded, balanced athlete performance of doing deadlifts, and you can go run 3 miles, and you can go swim, and you can
climb a
do
rope.
a rope climb and tire flips, and it doesn't. You have to train every aspect, because you don't going to CrossFit games
well balanced.
You don't know what the workouts are, so you just got to train everything. You know, you can't really focus on just lifts or this or that or that.
And I'm sure every
stuff.
If you look on YouTube or you Google or you go to a gym and do HIIT training, I'm sure they vary to what they do in the workouts. I've never seen HIIT training where they do rope climbs or, you know, gymnastic stuff or heavy weightlifting, you know, Olympic weightlifting. I've never seen HIIT training do that, so that'd be a lot of difference just in the stuff that they do as far as lifts.
Yeah. Well, most of the like conditioning interval training in CrossFit though is mostly not really a lot with barbells either. It's more just like
thrusters would be though.
Thrusters would be.
When they do like the Fran, that'd be
some
pretty
stuff.
high intensity.
It's a mix. It's just like every day is different. Every day is different.
Every CrossFit workout, usually every WOD is a high intensity fast as you can. So automatically makes you be high intensity.
Yeah. And they have days where they do 1 rep max stuff.
Yeah, they do 1 rep max heavy lifts. So it's not like they always do that, but it's just more typical.
Yeah.
So that's
just not keeping a routine. Routine is the enemy. You know?
Routine's the enemy. Don't let your body get used to anything. Once it gets used to it, then stop progressing.
Yeah. So
hopefully that answers your question, Bev.
Yeah. Cool. Good question. So yeah, me and Kel, I mean we don't do the classes at all. Was that?
Caleb and I.
Caleb and I? What? Bro.
Me and Caleb? Am I mean?
Whatever. Yeah, maybe you're right. Question for you, is he mean? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, no, he's not.
Quads.
He's awesome.
Who has more defined quads?
Yeah. We didn't get a picture, but
we're gonna have to do that.
Check out our story. We did a little leg extensions for Steve Cook.
Shout out to Steve
quads.
Cook.
Got those quads burning.
Anyway,
it's kind of a fun day, but
culture fitness.
What I was gonna say is that Caleb and I, we don't do the classes. We kind of just write our own programming, not just because we're just snobs and we want to just be by ourselves.
Mostly because I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Hannah does the classes, so she's part of the CrossFit classes. She goes to the classes, gets her program, all that stuff. So
yeah, and it's kind of fun, just like getting together and kind of figuring out what we want to do, like as far as our own weaknesses and strengths, like what we need to get better at, how our body's feeling, like just kind of communicating that and seeing what we need to put in our workout. Like it's kind of fun just trying to program stuff like that. So yeah, it's cool. Anyway, if you got any questions about that, like any kind of workout you want to do or anything
hopefully
like
I answered whether or not you should do CrossFit, because you should.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Listen to your body.
Yep. Take time, progress. Take time to really
Don't
progress.
be an arrogant. Right.
Learn the form, the technique. Leave your ego at the door. You know, guys.
Have fun.
It's a big one.
Have fun.
Yeah. That's it.
Cool.
Anything else?
Flexy Friday. Let us know what that was like, if you're into it. If that answers your question, whether or not you should do CrossFit. Remember, just be functional. Be an athlete. Have fun. Love people. Love Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus loves you.
Right on.
And if you have a question that you want us to answer next week, or if you want us to do a topic on next week or any other week,
Could be anything.
Know.
Fitness, faith, family, food, fun, all that kind of stuff. Life questions,
anything
life topics, anything, whatever. So
Flexy Bros out.
Get it.
Get it.
Love you guys.